So, as I'm sure that you know, I've gone rather hardcore on showing off some of these Weapon Crate DLC guns that we're going to be getting very soon. I think the date will be at the end of May. Nothing specific, but that's the date that we've heard from the devs so far. And the fourth weapon I'm going to be showing you is the Groza 1. Very similarly named to the PDW that I showed you earlier in the week, the Groza 4, but this one is a carbine. It uses a different caliber round, and it sticks a muzzle brake on the weapon instead of a suppressor. That thing's mandatory. And to make this even more confusing for you, I've recorded the footage that you're watching right now before DICE LA decided to change the weapon as you're currently watching it. You're watching the weapon with a heavy barrel attached as a mandatory barrel attachment, but they've changed that now for the muzzle brake, so I thought I was ahead of the pack, but no, DICE LA trolled me just a little bit. But the Groza 1 though, as I mentioned, is a carbine, which means it can be used on any class within Battlefield 4, although I always tend to use it on the Engineer class, and that's probably because in Battlefield 3 they used to be locked to the Engineer class, and the PDWs used to be the all-kit weapons. I think times were better back then because an Engineer is likely to play in a vehicle, and then when you jump out of the vehicle, you're expecting to have to take out your enemy, who's probably going to be standing a fair distance away with maybe an RPG or a SMOR or something like that. Well, in Battlefield 4, the PDWs are built for close-range fighting, so you can never really hit those players that are standing far away, whereas with carbines in BF3, you could. It's just my opinion there, but I genuinely love using the carbines on Engineer, and I don't really know what the change was, unless it was authenticity, because a PDW would actually fit inside a tank, whereas a carbine might not, or it uses more space than a PDW, I don't know, but I prefer the way it was in Battlefield 3. The Groza 1 fits nicely into the available carbines that we have in the game already, and it looks like it's been given its own bullet damage model as well. It's a unique one for Battlefield 4, I think. It runs as a max damage of 30 inside 8 meters, and then that falls away to 16.7 at 65 meters, so this thing really is a close quarters beast. 30 max damage will drop an enemy in close quarters in 3 bullets, so it is ridiculously powerful, or even 2 bullets if you manage to hit one of them straight into their head. And then if you add to that this thing's got an 800 round rate of fire, and it kinda sounds like this thing might be borderline OP, but as expected, there are certain stats that nerf the insane power of this thing quite quickly. As I mentioned earlier, this footage is recorded before DICE LA decided to change the mandatory heavy barrel for a muzzle brake. That means that this thing did have a 0.57 vertical recoil value, which was pretty difficult to control even at close quarters if the enemy was right in front of you and you chose not to hip fire. And side-to-side recoil was 0.4 both left and right, which made this thing really difficult to handle outside maybe 20 to 25 meters or so. Now that I've used it with the muzzle brake, that recoil has been reduced slightly. It's still very much evident, but it is a little bit easier to use at those ranges. You could probably go up to 30 or 40 meters before you started missing shots with this thing. Some other statistics include a, well, frankly pretty poor 400 meters a second bullet velocity. Those rounds must be really powerful. I mean, I know that they've got their own damage model, and I think this thing actually uses the same ammo as an AK-47. I think it's based off of that weapon, and those rounds must be really heavy because 400 meters a second is pretty slow. And with that, we have a short reload of 2.6 seconds and a long reload of 3.4 seconds, so again, not particularly impressive. I'm going to be honest here, I don't really like this weapon all that much. Like I said, DICE LA did recognise that this thing's recoil, especially with the first shot multiplier, was absolutely ridiculous with their heavy barrel attached. And they did switch it out for a muzzle brake, which is fairly nice, but overall, apart from the heavy damage at close range, this is a pretty forgettable weapon in all honesty. Thankfully it is in the carbine category, which I do like, but it could be just completely ignored because it isn't tied to a specific class of soldier. I'd much rather use the PDW cousin of this weapon, the Groza 4, which comes fully equipped with a suppressor as standard, which is a massive benefit for keeping you off the minimap when firing. And a lot of people mentioned in the comments of that video that yes, you can put a suppressor on any weapon in Battlefield 4. Yeah, I'm not stupid, I do know that. But it means that you can't take the suppressor off. You are forced to use it with the Groza 4. And whether you think that that's a benefit or not, you will never appear on the minimap when you are shooting with the Groza 4 because you can't take the suppressor off. You can never make that mistake, especially when you're playing in close quarters. If you switch to your secondary, or you decide to fire an RPG, well then that's your own fault. But you cannot take the suppressor off with the PDW. And I just think that that's a great benefit to have, especially when you're using a close quarters weapon. Now, the more eagle-eyed among you might have noticed that I put the word giveaway in the title of this video, and no, it's not clickbait, it's definitely real. I've been given this pretty cool looking case by Recoil, and it's Battlefield Hardline branded. I'm sure you can tell that if your eyes are open. And this is only one of a few that have ever been made. I'm not sure of the exact amount, but this is a fairly unique bit of kit right here. And as much as it pains me to say it, because I'd like to keep it for myself, it is my job to give it away to one of you guys. To enter, all you have to do is head down into the description of this video, and there's a cleverly titled link called Giveaway. And if you click that, you'll get taken to the sign-up page. If you complete a few things that are on there, you'll get one entrance for each thing that you do. I think there are 3 things on there. Things like following Recoil or myself on Twitter. And that's pretty much it. You'll be entered into the giveaway. It'll be lasting another day and a half, and I will be closing the giveaway on Friday night at midnight GMT. This will be a worldwide giveaway, which might surprise you because I never do that. But I've decided to go on a condition. If you were to win this and you were outside of the EU, the European Union, then I would ask you to pay for packaging. But I wanted to make sure this was a global giveaway so all of my subscribers could have the chance of winning. But if you are outside the EU, I will ask you to pay for packaging because it's extremely heavy, bulky, and I'm not made of money. But if you do win, then you've still got the chance of getting it. And yes, I can hear you crying out there, console users, because this is pretty much a PC giveaway, as was the last one I did. But don't worry, I do have a couple of things lined up for you guys that will involve stuff that I can give away for you on console. I haven't forgotten about you, and to be fair, I don't really give you a huge amount of love on this channel, but I do want to make sure that I'm doing a giveaway for you guys in the future, so stay tuned for that. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. If you could leave me a rating, that'd be much appreciated. And don't forget to hit up g2a.com/r/Westy for great deals on the latest games. The link's in the description. But until next time, my name is Westy, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.